This is Bobby Lashley, and you're watching InYourHeadOnline.com.
All right, we're back. Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I am Jack, along with my right-hand man.
1-inch biceps, the power goat.
Oh, man. And joining us right off the bat, we usually have the guest on 8:30. He's on right at the start. We're joined by former WWE superstar. He's had a lot of titles. Now he's in the MMA world. We got Bobby Lashley on the show. Welcome to In Your Head.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm down here training and enjoying myself. This whole fight game is a very fun adventure, I think.
You said you're in training now. How different is the training for MMA, compared to when you were training for in pro wrestling or for amateur wrestling?
I think they're all three different, completely different. I think the MMA style is more in your face. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to learn. I think MMA. Well, I think the part that they're similar in is that in professional wrestling, you're always learning. There's always something new to learn, and you always have a different opponent. So you always have a different style, a different match, and everything. And I think that's the same thing that you have with MMA. Like the last guy I fought was a big-time jiu-jitsu guy, so I had to train against a jiu-jitsu guy. This guy's a striker, so I have to start training against the striker now. So there's something different in every match. But as far as training from MMA has been a whirlwind. I mean, I've been down here training in Fort Lauderdale at American Top Team, which is probably the best fighting organization in the world, I believe. Mm-hmm. So every day, I'm banging with the best fighters in the world. So it's tough. It's tough. It's not any place for the weak-hearted, the weak-minded person to be.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you came actually from amateur wrestling to professional wrestling, were you a wrestling fan, or did you kind of look down on it? Because there are a lot of amateur wrestlers who, think, it's professional wrestling. That's just silly. What were your thoughts on professional wrestling before you got into it?
No, I was a huge wrestling fan. I was a huge professional wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. When I was little, I used to watch it all the time. There was a little spell in there where I kind of lost contact with it a little bit, and that's when I was training really hard at the Olympic Training Center and through my last years in college, but I still caught a glimpse of it every now and then. I still kept up with Kurt because Kurt was a wrestler, and I kind of followed what he was doing. And then that's when The Rock was big and all that stuff. So I was always a wrestling fan, always a professional wrestling fan. So when I had the opportunity and when I was presented the opportunity, I jumped right into it.
Excellent. Is that a guy you would have wished you got in the ring with, Kurt Angle?
Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
That's one, Kurt Angle, and then another person is just because he's an icon. He's been around the business so long. He's always had great matches, and that's Undertaker. Mm-hmm. And then I guess another person that I really didn't. I did little bits and pieces with in the short time that we were actually together was Triple H. So I guess that's another person that I wish I would have had a little bit more contact with.
Yeah. Well, what is the difference between being in front of a wrestling crowd and being in front of an MMA crowd? Is it the same thing, or is it a different experience? It's
the same crowd. It's the same rowdy crowd. That's why I love it.
Right.
Because a lot of the same people that I see in MMA, they follow professional. They're professional wrestling fans also. They go back and forth. These are the people that like entertainment, like more physical entertainment. So it's the same crowd either or.
Mm-hmm. You talked about, I mentioned the Undertaker, and he's seen a lot of times at MMA shows, and he incorporates some of the MMA moves in the wrestling. Do you keep in contact with him at all? Is he happy that you're doing well in MMA?
Well, he wished me good luck in my adventures here in the business. I don't keep in contact with him so much personally, but there's other guys on the roster that I'm still friends with that I do talk to from time to time, and I still turn on and watch them when they have a big match coming up. So I just I'm still a wrestling fan, so I still turn on the tube and watch all the shows.
Yeah, well, we have to ask about this guy. I think everyone probably has asked you, but. Brock Lesnar, he's a UFC champion. Now, did that influence you at all into getting into MMA, or was it something you wanted to do anyway?
No, it was something that I wanted to do anyway. I was actually training before I went to the WWE. I was training with some of the guys from American Kickboxing Academy down in San Jose. I have a handful of guys that are friends with mine, and before I got into WWE, I was actually training and wrestling around with those guys, kind of learning jiu-jitsu, starting to learn striking. So when the time was right in the WWE, when I had that little time off, I started training again, and just kind of felt that was a good time to, if I was going to do MMA, that would be a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to ever fight Brock Lesnar at some point?
I want to fight everybody.
Right.
No,
Watch
of course, if you're, I'm a heavyweight, so if you're in the fight business, if you're in the fight game and you're a heavyweight and you don't want to fight Brock Lesnar, then you should go ahead and leave, because right now he's at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not gunning for the guy at the top, then you're in the wrong business. I'm not in the business to just start rolling around and fighting different people and just having a good time, getting punched in the face and everything like that. That's not what I'm in there for. I'm in there for the championships. I want to win titles. I want to beat everybody. I want to be the best. And to be the best, you have to beat the best. And right now, the best is Brock.
Mm-hmm. We got a bunch of callers here. Let's get to a couple of callers. Let's see. We got Jason on the line.
Hi. Hello?
Yep.
Hi, Bobby. What was it like working with Vince and Donald Trump at the WrestleMania 23 Battle of the Billionaires?
Oh, man, that was a dream come true. I mean, just being in WrestleMania, period, was an unbelievable experience. But then being in front of 85,000 people, and then on top of that, shaving Vince, that's like one of those matches that are going to go down in history that people are going to talk about forever. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it's as big as like Hogan slamming Andre, but it's going to be one of those things that people talk about forever. That whole little spill that we had from the time that me and Umaga had a street fight, to the time where I jumped through the cage, to the time that I shaved the man's head, Stone Cold Steve Austin was a part of it, Donald Trump. I mean, it was a dream come true, man. It was an unbelievable experience.
Did that make you feel like the company was really getting behind you? They're giving a rub from all these different, superstars? Yeah.
But, Vince is a smart man when it goes to knowing what's going on in the business. Vince knew, there's people out there that are there, and they're happy that they're there, and then there's people that are there that do everything that they can to make themselves better. And that's what I was doing. I was doing everything that I can to make myself better in the WWE wrestling training, watching videos, talking to some of the veterans, trying to learn how to have better matches and entertain better, and working. So he saw that. So it was kind of his way of showing, giving thanks or showing appreciation that I was actually doing the things necessary to make it to that level. And I was fortunate enough. I mean, you still have to be you have to be in the right place at the right time. And I was at the right place at the right time. But I mean, I worked my butt off, so it was justified.
Mm-hmm. Now, actually, when you left WWE, was that something that went through your head? Like, you maybe want to be loyal to them since they really tried to help you?
Yes. I have no hard feelings with WWE,
Right.
A lot of times people leave the WWE and they just, they talk about how much they hated it or whatever. Any job you're going to have the pros and the cons. But the one thing I can say about the WWE, it did a lot for me, man. It put me in a position and gave me opportunities that I never think that I would have. I was able to do things for my family, and I was able to go places that I could quite possibly never made it to. So there's a lot of pros with WWE. There are some negatives, but let's not dwell on the negatives. Let's look at the positives. Mm-hmm. I had a great time. I built a fame, and I'm actually using that same fame that I got from the WWE into mixed martial arts.